This recipe is truly worldwide famous at this point because anyone I talk to, this recipe somehow comes up in a conversation and I end up sharing it with them. So it's known and practiced by so many people that I know, and I really want you to start introducing it into your diet. Because on par with salads, this thing is truly legendary. It is superfood. Please watch my video about nutritional value breakdown. This recipe is there, but I've never shown it to you, and today we'll go through it. So to make this gorgeous dish, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whatever you prefer it to be, we will need 60 grams of hemp, which makes 2 servings of hemp. I prefer organic. All affiliate links for all these products will be down in the description box. This is 30 grams of flax seeds that I soaked about half an hour ago. You can soak them overnight. You can skip soaking altogether, or again, use just 30-minute time period. We will need a banana, 1 large banana or 2 small bananas. You will need a bowl of raspberries to taste. I use frozen raspberries. I don't spend money on unripe raspberries that they sell in the produce section. I buy them frozen. Then we will need cacao powder. I use Navitas one. To taste, we will also need cacao nibs. This is totally optional. Then I suggest that you use some nuts or pumpkin seeds. Here I'm displaying sprouted almonds from Organic Harvest, International Harvest, Organic, whatever sequence of words they intended. And then, of course, I'm adding Brazil nuts to this recipe. So what we're going to do with this thing. Knife here is for Brazil nuts. It's not for banana. And the first step that we will need to do is to mash the banana. To make this recipe work, we will need to absolutely mash the banana with fork or spoon if your banana is soft. No, don't blend it in the blender. Don't cut it in circles. Mash it with fork. Banana, when it's blended, it gets this unpleasant taste that is not really, I don't know, I'm not a fan of it. I much rather prefer having banana with some pieces. So I'm simply mashing the banana with fork. Large pieces are okay. They will add sweetness to this recipe. So I'm simply mashing banana. And now, what I will do, I will add hemp seeds. You can soak them as well. And then I'm adding flax seeds directly with the slime. And I mix again. Then it's time to add other dry ingredients. So I'm adding cacao. Cacao is added to taste. If you're okay with carob flavor, then you can add that as a substitute if you don't want caffeine or theobromine. Then I'm adding cacao nibs, just a handful for crunch. It will be already plenty of crunch in this recipe because of nuts, but why not diversify it? So then I'm adding my nuts. Sprouted nuts are really easy to crush. They become like chips, so I did it by hand. You can use knife and cutting board. And then the last ingredient, not last, before raspberries, we need to add Brazil nuts. So about 4 or 5 Brazil nuts is all you need for your daily selenium, like with overboard amount, of like overshooting the daily recommended daily value. So let's add 5 and call it a day here. My dog loves Brazil nuts a lot, so I give him 1 or 2 every day. Now, it's time to add raspberries. Raspberries here are optional, but they add vitamin C. And another thing that they do is that they add the sour hint. So this meal is why it's so good to eat it, like why it's so pleasant to eat it, is because it has sweet, it has bitter, and it has sour taste. So it's very balanced in terms of all tastes interplay. So I'm mixing it again, and to taste, we can add more water to make it a little bit more porridge to let the hemp plump up. So I'll probably add a little bit of water. This is my distiller jug. So this is how my water is kept. The link for distiller also will be in the description. So far, after I actually have traveled, I drank filtered bunch of bottled waters. I returned home and I always miss my distilled water. It's something addictive, guys. So I wish you could try it at least like for several days and see how you enjoy it. And this will probably make your mind towards buying a distiller for many of you. So just a little bit of water, it will help cacao to dissolve a little bit, to mix with everything. And if you see large pieces of banana, crush them as you mix and let this mixture sit, or you can enjoy it right away. Just be mindful when you're adding cacao to your dishes. If you take a spoonful with some dry cacao powder, you can accidentally inhale it, and this will be very unpleasant. So I would encourage you to make sure that you mix all the cacao powder into this dish, because otherwise you can end up coughing from like choking on cacao powder. So what I noticed with this meal is that it goes really well with blackberries as alternative to raspberries, and not so well with the blueberries, because blueberries are too sweet for this meal, and there's a lot of plain/sweet tastes as is. So something with a little bit more punchy taste, with some punchy flavor, goes much better to my taste. But you can experiment and find other berry combinations that would go with this dish. And so I've been eating this since probably last summer, so almost a year. And I've been enjoying it every time like the first time. And you don't grow tired of it. It's amazing. Probably two main points. One is, do not blend banana. Do not cut the banana. Mash it with fork. And point number two, it is preferable that you soak flax seeds, at least for some little period of time, because then they become soft. You won't need to mill them. You can just chew them easily, and they won't stick to your teeth. Because if you chew just dry flax seeds, they're very hungry for water. So they will stick to your saliva everywhere. It will be very uncomfortable. But when they are soaked and they're slimy, they're much easier to eat. And then whatever seeds you want to add, do that. And you can also absolutely reduce the amount of cocoa. I don't like the flavor of hemp in smoothies. I don't like flavor of hemp alone. And in fruity mixtures, I prefer it with chocolate and sweet. This is how I love my hemp. I don't make any dressings with it. I don't oxidize it by milling it. I don't do all of those food augmentation procedures. I love it with this palette specifically. This is my favorite and probably the only favorite way to eat hemp. But it is such a way that you don't want to give it up or trade it for anything, because it's just the best. Yeah, with hemp, I noticed that adding just a little bit of cocoa powder makes it very good, makes it very tasty. So I would not give up on cocoa powder in this recipe. I would give up on cocoa nibs, because sometimes, they get like some weird texture once in a while or weird flavor. So if you are making this dish for someone, I would advise you to probably stay away from cocoa nibs in the beginning and then try adding them afterwards, because if they get repelled by cocoa nibs aspect from this dish, then that's not going to be nice. So this is probably the sacrificial ingredient that I would reduce this recipe by. But other things, mandatory elements of this dish, are banana, hemp, flax, cocoa powder, and sour berries like raspberries. Those are the main ingredients. Brazil nuts, of course, because Brazil nuts, if anything that Brazil nuts go well with, this is the dish for Brazil nuts. The greatest gastronomic invention, of course, after salad. After the salad magic, when you dress it well with apple cider vinegar and the shoyu sauce or coconut tomatoes, try it. You have no reason not to, even if you're the busiest person on the planet. You just must try it. It's much better than any of your protein powders, protein shakes, all those isolates. This is whole food recipe that carries all necessary nutrition for you to build muscles, to build hair, to build healthy skin, to supply healthy fats, and to restore your body on the cellular level. The whole preparation, without me talking, without all the adjustments, it took me probably 3 minutes to assemble it. I mean, you soak this flax seeds, you can soak them before bed, and in the morning they will be ready. Or even you can skip this step and just pour water. I mean, if you're doing it in the morning, I don't know your schedule, but you can literally prepare this dish first thing in the morning, then do like some hygienic things, and then eat it or bring it to work in a container and eat it there. It will be getting only better within like first hour probably. It will get plumper and taste. I can't wait to eat it. So